If this video found you, you are entering a whole new stage of your life. It's almost like a whole new life, even. Like the people who knew you, last year are not going to recognize you today. They're not going to recognize you in a week, in a month, in a year. They're going to be like, this can't be the same person. This is crazy. Because I knew that person. I knew who that person was. I grew up with them. I worked with them. I went to the same club as them. And, the person I knew was insecure and they were always struggling and they didn't have boundaries and maybe they, I don't know, just like weren't at home in themselves. They were always such a basket case. And now people are going to see you and be like, wait, I can't believe that you used to be like that. Like you seem like a completely different person. I pulled the Page of Wands. This is you entering your new life. And this new life that you're entering is one where you get to do what you want. You get to take the action that feels inspired, that feels good, that feels like it's right for you. You notice how he's like, oh, wow. Like he's really like pondering the wand, right? He's really like, really considering it like, wow, and like appreciating. So I'm really getting this appreciation from this card. You are going to love your new life. You're going to love it. And I got this really strong channel of My Future by Billie Eilish, if you know that song. And that whole song is about her being in love with her future, being in love with her future self. And, just not being there yet, but feeling it, like feeling how far she's going to go and just being in love with it, and in love with herself and how she's going to grow. And I apologize too. My dog is like chewing on her Kong in the room. So if you hear that gross mouth sounds, it's her. But she's really loving it. Like she's living her life right now. I do think that there is like your future self is here. Take this as an opportunity to really connect with your future self. I pulled my meditate and release trapped emotions. So I feel like meditate and release trapped emotions. I feel like there could be some resistance around it. The channels that have been coming in have been like, there's so much coming and you're not even ready for it. Like you are dreaming small compared to what is actually in store for you. You don't even know like what's coming. I feel like, whenever we grow, right, we kind of like, we dream a little bit and then we grow and we dream a little bit bigger and then we dream a little bit bigger. And I feel like this is definitely a invitation to meditate on what's still kind of clinging to your soul. Like what doubts do you have? Like when you hear that your whole life is going to change and you're going to get to live your dream life, like what is the resistance that comes up? Because I do feel like there is some resistance about that, like feeling like it's almost too good to be true. And so Spirit is saying like this is a good time to meditate on this, your dream life coming in, this shift in energy that is happening in the collective, that is happening like in humanity as a whole. And release those emotions. If it's like, it could be positive, it could be joy, it could be relief, where you find yourself crying because you're like, I never thought I could get to this point. I never thought I could heal. I never thought that I would be able to make it, by myself, be able to feel secure, to feel safe, to feel like home. And I do think that maybe some of this has to do with finances or your security, because the Knight of Pentacles came out underneath the release trapped emotions. So maybe you have some resistance about these blessings that are coming, your financial blessings, because there are definitely financial blessings coming in. If you've been struggling with money, if you've been struggling with resources, just know that that's coming to an end. Spirit is coming in and this Knight of Pentacles is coming in. This could be a person, like a very physical person, who comes in and kind of saves the day a little bit, like gives like a check out of nowhere, or gives you guidance on how to proceed in your finances. Could be like a financial planner or someone who's like already been where you've been. If you're like a business owner, it's someone who's, has already started their business and they're like well off and successful and they want to just mentor you a little bit. But some guidance is coming in too. So I do think that also this is an opportunity to like, well, where do you feel insecure? Where do you have fear about this new life that is coming in? And the ways that you feel incapable of holding it or incapable of coping with it. Like if you said you're going to get your emotional dream, like you are, like let's say you want to have a partner and kids, and you want your own successful business, and you want to move to a new place, and you want to have your own home that you own, you know, like go through each of those things of your dream life that you are calling into your life, and then figure out where you feel inadequate, where you feel like there's something lacking, and, you know, really feel into that and release it. Release that fear, release that insecurity through crying, through journaling. I pulled the meditate card, so it's definitely something you need to like really sit with. And then ask spirit for those things. Ask for those qualities to come in, and ask for people to come help you, because there are people that are coming in to help you. Spirit, what is more guidance for whoever was drawn here today? Again, I'm sorry about my dog. Five of Swords in reverse. Yeah, okay. With the Five of Pentacles in reverse, you could be seeing 555 a lot, or 55. 55 could be significant for you, but you dealt with people getting away with things. I pulled this card the other day too. I think on my last tarot reading. You dealt with people who did not have good intentions, who were trying to get one over on you, who did kind of bring this scarcity into your life. I'm hearing like it didn't have to be that way. It didn't have to be so scarce. It didn't have to be such a struggle for you. It was because there were energies and people in your life who wanted it all for themselves. They wanted to win no matter what. They didn't care if they were hurt. They didn't care, you know, who the victims may be, what the consequences were. I'm getting like landlord or a boss, someone definitely who was in their power and who, you know, used their power to sort of take advantage of you. I feel like you were already kind of down, like you were like a kicked puppy, you were already struggling, and they just kind of made it worse. And you may have even had health problems too. You see how like there's like the crutches, and, you know, just, you may have had housing issues maybe. But Spirit is saying like this is all coming to an end. They're both in reverse. And with the Knight of Pentacles, like you don't have anything to worry about. So release your fear, you know. And also I'm getting like there's going to be people that maybe don't want to see you glowing up, don't want to see you secure. They liked being a winner. They liked being the one on top. They liked being in their power. And when you come into your power, it may be really difficult for them to see that. And they're going to be showing their true colors if they haven't already. I feel like you've already moved past these people, if I'm being honest. But if this is like family or friends who are still kind of in your circle, just be prepared. You know, like when you start winning, when you start sharing your abundance and these things that are coming in, you know, just pay attention to how people react. And with the released trapped emotions and the Five of Pentacles, I feel like there may be something you're still holding on to, like wounds, soul wounds, in your heart chakra, maybe in your root chakra, because your root has to do with home and security. And I feel like maybe you kind of feel a type of way, like maybe you know, like forgive and forget. You haven't forgotten and you haven't forgiven. You're still holding on, and you're like, wow, that really sucks that those people did that to me, that I had to deal with this, that I had to, you know, solve these problems or deal with these roadblocks when they weren't supposed to come up, that people were manufacturing scarcity for me. And this could be like physical people in your life, but this could also be like the system and just the society that we live in. Like, do you have wounds about that? And then really take care and like look at them. You know, the whole point of observing feelings and observing your wounds is because once you know, look at them, once you acknowledge them and feel them and really just like put your attention on them, that's what heals. That's what dissolves it, and it frees up that energy, and it frees up that energy. And I'm getting this feeling of like tightness, like it's like knots. You know how, you know, when you're stressed or when you work a lot, you have like knots in your muscles. So this is like a knot in your heart, a knot in your root that needs to be massaged out. And so just take the time, just, you know, sit with it and express it and release it, and know that things are changing, because you're not the same person you were back then. You are not. You have done so much work to heal yourself. You've done so much work to work on how you talk with yourself and how you experience the universe. And you've done so much about your faith, and you're being delivered from it. The Six of Swords, you're being delivered from it. This is your masculine, your feminine, and your inner child. And it's really important that you keep your masculine, your feminine, and your inner child. I feel like this card came out too because we need all of those parts for us to move forward. Like we need it as, for our full integrated self. So, you know, I feel like I'm really being drawn to the child. Yeah, inner strength, the strength that came out. I'm being really drawn to the child. So I feel like this is a lot of inner child wounds, and like, again, just not feeling like it's not going to happen. Like it's too good to be true. Like you're like, I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to feel like everything can be magical. I don't want to maybe dream or let myself dream because I don't want to be disappointed, because I felt like that when I was a child. Like I remember when I was a kid and I dreamed big and I wanted to be this, or I wanted to do these things, and then I became an adult and I was disillusioned, and it really hurt for me to crush those dreams. And I can't bear to to resurrect these dreams just for them to be dashed again. And that is very valid, and it's very real, and I have been there. Like I think all of us have been there on the spiritual journey. But the point is that those dreams were there when you were a child because they were attainable, because it's what your soul wants. It was your soul's path. And you know, it's something that you always knew. It was an innate knowledge within yourself that you were capable of so much, that you are so strong and you have such vision, and that the future that you want is very much so available to you. But it could be kind of unfamiliar. Maybe it's not something that you've ever experienced, being able to, you know, stand on your own and rely on your inner strength, and to stand in your strength and in your power. Maybe it's really tough, like whenever you would express your faith and your strength, that everything is going to work out, that I'm always like in the right place at the right time, God's got me, Spirit's my angels, they've got me. People kind of like tore you down, but you know, you're moving away from those people. And I feel like now you're going to be able to be in the same rooms with those people because the blessings are coming. And this is just like an invitation, like I said, to release these things before these blessings come in. Just like a last little bit of shedding that, you know, you don't have to do it, but it's an invitation from Spirit. It will help you tremendously in your growth. And then you're going to be able to stand in those rooms with the haters, with the people who maybe like screws you over, and be like, yeah, so what? Like, I don't care. I literally don't care about what you think of me or what happened with us in the past, because I am just so focused on now and my future. And I know my future is so bright, and I know that I'm living every single day to my best and to what I want to do. We pulled the Lovers underneath the Six of Swords. So I did pull the Divine Connection card, and I've been like pulling it a lot lately, and I just was kind of resistant to give like kind of a love message. But I do feel like if you've struggled with things in the past, with relationships, this is the card of like a new relationship coming in. With love in your future. If you're already, I pulled it underneath the Six of Swords. So I feel like too, if you are maybe in a partnership already, you're being delivered with your partner. It's not going to just be you. It's going to be you and your partner and your family. So don't worry about that. Like, they're coming with you because you have a soul connection. I'm also feeling, you know, the Lovers can also be, like I said, divine masculine, divine feminine. So, you know, what are your wounds about that? Like, what are the ways that you maybe struggle to stand in your masculine? Your masculine is like standing up for yourself, taking action, setting boundaries. It's all about, you know, like a fiery energy. Very like fire and maybe air is kind of what I would say. But, you know, the ways where you are like the boss and in charge, and like just, you know, being kind of just standing in your power, basically. And then your feminine also. Your feminine is your ability to receive, your ability to be in touch with your emotions, your ability to nurture those around you and to be nurtured too. Your intuition, things like that. So, you know, make sure that you aren't neglecting one for the other, or maybe disconnecting from one entirely. And like, you know, it's just gender neutral. So whether you are identify as a man or woman, non-binary, whoever, like we all have masculine and feminine sides. And so this is an opportunity, like I said, just to, you know, make sure you're feeding both of them. You know, you let yourself be receptive and maybe more quiet and more drawn in and maybe kind of hermit mode, but also letting yourself be like take action and be inspired and do things and, you know, speak your truth too. It pulled the Fool underneath. Yeah. Okay, so I just pulled the Empress in reverse. So this looks like your feminine is what needs healing. I pulled it underneath the Five of Swords. So this could be a mother. You could have mother wounds. Maybe this is your mom that was, you know, trying to take advantage of you, or was always like in their position of power and using it to their advantage. I mean, like emotional and manipulation, or like making you shoulder all of the emotional work of the household, or even maybe it could be like the physical work, like maybe you worked from a really young age and had to help support your family. But again, like that's not your destiny. Your destiny is not your wounds. Your path is not how you've been hurt. It's how you move forward. It's how you have been in your power to heal. I also pulled the Fool. And the Judgment in reverse under the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, so just know that, like, I feel like, yeah, okay. So I pulled these three cards together. Empress, Devil in reverse, Judgment in reverse. And this is definitely giving me, you had someone in your energy, a feminine energy. Doesn't have to be a woman, just someone who is kind of in their feminine energy. And they did not show good judgment. They didn't have a connection with spirit. They were like putting things off because they were like kicking the can down the road. They were putting things off. They were doing things because they were like, it's never going to come back to affect me. It's, you know, whatever. Like this isn't gonna, it's not my monkey, not my circus kind of thing, but it was their monkey and it was their circus because it was their actions, and it's gonna be their karma. It's gonna be their karma coming back in. And so, you know, maybe trust in that. If you still have like some anger or some wounds, trust that they're gonna get their karma. It may not be in this lifetime, but it will be in the next lifetime. So, you know, just don't worry about it. And also, like, that was a devil energy, and the devil is just our separation from God. The devil isn't any like actual entity that is influencing people because it has some kind of malicious agenda, okay? The devil is just what the separation from God, right? Our thought that we know more than God, or that we don't have to have accountability to ourselves and to other people and to spirit, because, you know, it's all the same thing. And so these, you see how they're all flipped. So I feel like there's definitely like the tables are turning. You are the Fool next to the Empress. Like, this is you, and you're gonna be like head in the clouds. You're having such a good time. You're like la da 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 da. You're like, life is so good. I'm picking flowers. I'm sightseeing. I'm doing whatever. And then this Empress that was harmful for you is gonna be like, it's just stuck where they are. They're gonna be stuck. They're gonna be dealing with their stuff. They're gonna be ruminating over like what they said to you and what they did to you, and maybe how they could have done better. And this could be like your come up could be a wake up moment for them, and to realize that, like, you know, when you're glowing and you are in your power and having so much like joy in your life, and maybe you cut them off, or you aren't speaking to them very much, or you don't let them in and you only see them once a year, they're gonna be like, well, shit, they're glowing, then why, like, what is this, you know? Why don't they want me in their life? And have to like have this whole big, you know, thing where they're like, oh shit, I totally messed up my life. And so yeah, so anyway, whatever happens to this person, I don't know. I don't like to, you know, tarot is all about energies. It's all about like what's happening right now, and it can point to possibilities, and it can point to where energies are moving, and like, what's the word? Momentum, but it can't like predict exactly what's going to happen. So I'm not going to say that's going to happen and that you are going to have, this person's going to have like a come to Jesus moment, because I don't know, but they are going to be faced with you glowing, having your wonderful life, and them not, and having to face that. And so, yeah, I just feel like, this is with the release trapped emotions, with the meditate, you have like this devil energy that's kind of circling. It's still kind of trapped in your field. And I feel like it's not really like impeding you at this moment. You've already gone past it. I feel like you've already really ended out these situations. You've ended these relationships or changed them, like enacted boundaries. And so there's not much that you need to do to like actively change your life and to release it. But you need to release the wounds that it still has in you. Like I said, just focus on them and let them heal. Give yourself time and energy to heal them. And this is really hard, but maybe go back, and if you haven't ever actually like confronted those memories or confronted these scenarios, going back and looking at it and being like, wow, that really sucked, and crying and yelling or whatever, and then being like, wow, I deserved better. And going forward, I know that I'm going to ask for these things from the people in my life and from spirit. And know that, like, the Empress, like, if this was your mother or like a caretaking person, yeah, it sucked that you didn't get that. You didn't get that unconditional love from them. You didn't get that nurtured, safe space where you could nurture your inner child to grow and to balance your masculine and feminine. Sorry about that. So anyway, yeah, it sucked that you didn't get that from them, but you can be your own mother, you can be your own father, and spirit can be your own mother and father. And they're going to be bringing people in who will help you heal those wounds, who will give those things to you, so then you can, live life as a fully functioning person who, it would be as if you had a perfect childhood and you were, never wanting for anything, and they supported you and they loved you and all that good stuff. So yeah, yeah. You got this. Thank you for coming. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, whatever. You got this. Bye.